chess. Come on and join me. Let's go learn about the game of chess. Eric, welcome to my show, or our show, B'nai B'rith, Iric, Jeffrey Lodge. Now, in the beginning I talked about the game of chess. Eric, we have a chessboard here, and how'd you get involved in the game of chess?
My dad taught me when I was in kindergarten, and my dad's very active in chess. He's the president of the School Chess Association, and he actively promotes youngsters getting involved in chess. In fact, this year's state tournament, which was held in Burnsville, we had over 468 kids participating in that tournament. Completely filled both cafeterias.
In the game of chess, is there any age limit in these tournaments that you had, or
no? Well,
it's maximum or minimum?
Sure. Numbers are, when there's never a maximum numbers. We have two divisions. We have a K through 3 section at the School Chess Association has, and also a 4 through 6 section. And anybody in those grade years is welcome to play.
Okay. Now you also are a chess coach, and you run a chess camp?
I coach 3 different teams, and I also am one of 3 instructors at chess camp. We have at the chess camp, all 3 instructors are actually licensed teachers who happen to coach chess. I'm one of them, and we also will have a master who will give extra instruction.
Now your family is very much involved with chess. Your dad and your sister is very much involved with chess. Well, is this like maybe most families do go golfing or play tennis or go boating? Your family is very much involved in the game of chess. Now, is that just something that's unique, or is that just like your dad to say, hey, let's all play chess, or how's that happen?
I got interested in chess when my dad and my uncle would play what's called speed chess. They played it in their basement. And speed chess is a clock. It's a double-time clock. If anybody's seen the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer, they'll know what I'm talking about. And when you make a move, you hit the clock, and push your button, it starts his clock. And it looked like a lot of fun because it's a real wild game. You only have 5 minutes. Each person only 5 minutes to finish the game. And it just seemed like a lot of fun to get involved. And I said to my dad, I want to play. And he says, are you sure? And I said, yes. He says, okay, and he taught me. And then I learned, and then Robin got interested. And
Robin, your sister.
Mm-hmm. And she learned from him too. And my mom was always interested in playing, and she does, so the whole family does.
Who's better and who's the best in the family?
I'm not going to answer that. I will say that my sister won the sophomore section of the Minnesota Open this year. So she's a very good player.
Okay. So if y'all have a chess, you're all about equal then.
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. Now, for your chess camp, the number is 593-5808, and that's for your chess camp that you run when you run it.
We'll have 2 different sessions in August. Our chess camp is, we just split it into, each kid will be evaluated and will be instructed based on their skill. We have a section for beginners, a section for intermediates, and a section through advanced players. And each of the, we don't just do chess there. We also took them roller skating, we take them swimming, we do all sorts of different activities because you can't get a bunch of kindergartners, K through 6, and have them play chess for 8 hours. They'll go stir crazy. And so we do lots of different things. We also, but we'll have 2 sessions of that. And if you want any information about that, just call that number and ask for Larry Lampert, and he'll
593-5808. Talk to Larry Lampert, or who has ever been answer the phone. Maybe they can help you too if Larry's not available, or leave your name and number, and they'll get back to you. The other number that's flashed on screen, 544-2426, is Chess Club and Adults. What's that all about?
My sister, she also coaches the team, the Northport team, and she started a chess club there. and that's for anybody to show up who just wants to learn. Even if you don't know how to play, show up, we'll teach you. And we teach people and we play competitively. But also, my brother-in-law, when he married my sister, he got involved in chess too, and now he's a certified tournament director, and he runs adult tournaments there as well. In fact, an adult tournament is going on as we speak. And that number is, Rob can get you in touch with anybody, any tournament that's going on in the state. He knows all about that stuff, so I would call Rob for that.
Okay, 544-2426 on that one. Now, chess has been going on for years and years and years and years. I remember I learned from my father how to play the game of chess. I remember playing in school. There was a movie, Searching for Bobby Fischer, who we can talk about a little later. How did chess begin? Where did it begin? Why do you have all these little funny-looking people here on the scene?
Chess was invented a long time ago in a country called Persia. Today we call that Iran. And the pieces have gone through several changes as the game evolved. See, in Persia, they didn't have castles. What they had were they had elephants. And as the game went to Europe, Europe doesn't have elephants, so the piece became a rook. The pieces have changed over time, and their powers have changed over time. But the game has evolved. Some rules were made to speed up the game because the game was taking too long. Other rules were changed just because it was more logical to do it that way. That's that in a nutshell.
Okay, and then the game progressed in schools and tournaments, and then obviously they made movies, Searching for Bobby Fischer. Explain the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer. Bobby Fischer was a chess player who...
One of the best players who ever played the game. He was so good, it's hard to fathom his genius at the game. He did some pretty incredible things. First of all, he, when he took the World Chess Championship, he did it under some pretty tough circumstances because at the time the game was really, Russians were winning predominantly, and the whole organizational status of the chess world was geared favoring the Russians. But he was able to overcome all that and become world chess champion. And he did it very impressively because he didn't just beat Boris Spassky, he really crushed him. And part of his genius is things he would do. There's an opening in chess, I'll explain what the pieces move, which is called the King's Gambit. He played Boris Spassky. The idea here is you sacrifice your pawn to gain control of the center. Now, he played Boris Spassky, I believe, sometime in the 60s, and Spassky played this opening against him, and Fischer lost. And then Fischer went on to write an article that says, King's Gambit, it's a bust. And he wrote a whole article saying how the King's Gambit won't work. In the World Chess Championship, one thing Bobby Fischer was known for was playing an opening called the Roy Lopez. In chess, there's many, many openings, and they're very complicated, and this is what the Roy Lopez does. And Fischer is so proficient with it that Spassky, knowing he's going to have to play Fischer, prepared for this. Fischer surprised Spassky by playing King's Gambit, even though he wrote an article saying it doesn't work. And Fischer had found some way, and Fischer beat him with it. I mean, that's incredible genius on his part. He could catch you by surprise. When he put an opening hit you with certain openings, he was very, very good at finding ways to win. And when he was 14 years old, he played a game that was called the Game of the Century, where the most powerful piece in chess is the queen. He sacrificed his queen, and by sacrificing his queen on the 17th move, he wins no matter what happens. And at 14, it was considered the Game of the Century, which is an incredible feat at 14. He was, at the time, the youngest master.
Now, Russians play a lot of chess. As a whole, is that the biggest game in Europe, or that part of Europe is Russia?
I would say that to them it's sort of I think certain cultures develop certain things and take them to the chin. In America, some big things are baseball, basketball. In Russia, it's hockey, but it's also chess. It's part of the culture there. It's not really been part of the culture of the United States as of yet. It is growing in this country. We've never had so many people part of the United States Chess Federation as we have this year. About 90,000 plus, as I recall.
Part of the federation?
That's what the United States Chess Federation, that's what the organization that runs chess in this country.
Wow. And that's probably, there's probably more that just play it for fun.
Right, playing for fun. I'm just talking to
whatever.
play official rated games.
Wow.
That's all.
Okay, let's talk about what these little pieces are. You got these things, you got a horse, a horse and a king and a queen. What are the names and what does each piece do?
Okay, these are pawns. Pawns are a piece that has a couple of things that you have to know about it. First of all, pawns on the very first move can move two. After that, they can only move one. But a pawn, when it captures, can only capture one square diagonally on either side.
Like that.
Right. That would be a capture move. Pawns, if the pawn can get all the way down to here, it can be promoted and become a queen. The queen is the most powerful piece in comparison to the pawn, so the queen can go in a straight direction. It can go across the board, straight, diagonal, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it captures the way it moves. The knight, which some people mistakenly call the horse, but it is called a knight. And the knight moves in an L. 2 squares up, 1 square over, or 1 square up, 2 over.
And it can jump over pieces.
It's the only piece that jumps over pieces. The rook moves straight
up and down, vertical,
or sideways.
horizontal.
Horizontal. The king moves 1 square in every direction. There's also a special move that kings can do called castling, which is designed to protect the king more and the way of getting the rooks coordinated off that back rank. I'll talk about that later. The bishops move diagonally, but you have one white bishop, one black bishop. They stay on their own color and don't change color. That's the move. But it's one thing to move a piece. It's another thing to know what you're trying to do when you're moving a piece. What I mean by that is that there's certain squares in chess which are more important than others. These 4 squares are the most important squares in chess. I want to demonstrate that.
Now the object of the game is just to get the...
The object of the game is to checkmate the king, to put the king in such a condition that no matter what he does, he's in danger, and therefore you lose. That's what check is, the king's in danger. And checkmate is when the king...
Can't move, he's dead, or gone.
Right. If you put the knight here, his possible options of moves are he can go here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 possibilities. There's a lot of range there. But let's put the knight off into the side and watch how his movement is restricted. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. He literally loses half his mobility by moving off to the side. So, and it's this way with all pieces in the chess game. In the center, your pieces are more powerful. So, all openings in chess are designed to try, not all, but one of the key strategies is to try to gain control of the center. A very common thing to do is to try to put your pawns into the center. Try to hold them there. These 4 squares are the important squares. That's the hill in chess. Now, by moving this pawn up here, I have secured 1 square of the 4, and I'm attacking another. A very common tactic by lots of players are just learning is to respond in kind. Now, a mistake a lot of beginners have, and a lot of people who think they know about chess, is they try to move a lot of pawns. In chess, you want to move as few pawns as possible in the opening. What you want to do is move these minor pieces, the knights and the bishops. You want to get them out. If you get your queen out, there's a danger that you could lose your queen to a minor piece. So you got to be careful. So a very common second move is to move the knight out like this. Incidentally, the opening I'm about to show you, a part of it, was studied by one of our presidents, Thomas Jefferson, who wrote about it. The opening is called Gioco Piano, which in Italian means quiet game, for the record.
Thomas Jefferson, a chess player, never knew that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, what happens is by moving the knight out, I'm attacking the pawn and this square in the center. These 2 squares are attacked. Black is protecting that. White, now, you see how white now has got 2 minor pieces out. And by placing the minor piece right here, it's going down. This is one of the 4 squares. and it's hitting this pawn. This pawn is the weakest pawn on the board because it's only protected by the king.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at this point...
You can sit down if you want.
Oh, I understand. Now, at this point, white has, you see, 2 minors, black has 1 minor up. A common tactic for black is respond in kind. Same reason. And now we start talking about real chess strategy. Because remember, our goal is to try to get the center. What white is going to try to do is to control the center. And what they do is move this pawn up. Because what they want to do is place this pawn up. You see how that would control the center? Now, if they did not have, they just push the pawn up, you see, black could take this pawn. If white takes back, black would take back, white takes back, and then they lose their queen. So, you see, in chess, you have to think a lot, and there's a lot of foresight. And so what you need is an extra defender. And by pushing this pawn up here, that gives 1 extra defender when he pushes here. Am I going too fast for you, Mark?
That's okay.
Okay.
I got one question.
Sure.
You mentioned a game of foresight.
Mm-hmm.
The game of chess is more than just a game. It can be used in the strategy. Can be used that you're learning a game of chess. It can be very much used in business, or maybe the game of football or sports, because you're learning to thinking ahead. What is your opponent going to do? Just like in business, what is your competition going to do?
Well,
so the game of chess is more than just a game. It's a mind thing. It teach you how to concentrate.
I'd be careful to say it's because you play chess you'll do well in business, you do well in football. I will say that there is a correlation between playing chess and increasing logical thinking skills, in abstract reasoning skills. Those types of things I can say is there's a correlation. As far as being chess players doing well in business, a lot of the best chess players in the world didn't make a lot of money. So I would be careful to say that.
Okay.
You have to be extremely, extremely well, and you also know how to have to market yourself to make money at this game. Okay. Okay.
Now also in the game of chess, these basic moves you can learn at your chess camp at 593-5808. If you never played the game before, you'll teach them all about it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the adult chess club at 544-2426, you can be a novice or a beginner, knows nothing about the game, saying, boy, this looks like an interesting game, I like to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll teach them. They can just show up and say, teach me. Is there any cost to these things? We have people, like Robin usually just helps teach beginners how to play. Once the beginners play, one of the best ways to learn how to play chess is to play against someone who's good. And then you go, in chess, you write down the move. What I mean by that is you notice there's a grid in chess. This is the A file, this is the A7-7. So if I was to make a move, if you're moving a piece, I'll use a different piece. Let's say you're moving this piece from here to here, you would say in chess, BC4. And you write these moves down, and when the game is over, and you record it, you can go back over the game, and you can see what you did wrong. Or you can say, hey, this is a really good idea. And by doing that, this is how you correct mistakes and you get better at the game. And I say as a rule of thumb that in order to get better at this game, you got to lose a lot first. And I think chess can be useful in teaching good sportsmanship. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way. Because in this game, you have no one to blame but yourself when you lose. There is no luck. The referee didn't make a bad call. You're on your own. Incidentally, it's back in this position now. White's last move is to push the pawn here with a plan pushing this pawn up here. Is there a cost to these, well, the chess camp, is there a cost?
Chess camp, there is a cost.
What about the club?
Club, anybody can come and show up and play for fun.
Okay. Now, you're a chess coach, coaching the game of chess.
Sure.
And what schools do you coach?
I have coached, I'll say what I coached last year. I don't know what I'm going to be coaching this year yet. I coached Lincoln Elementary School, which had been, at one time, the Lincoln Elementary School won like 6 consecutive national titles in a row. Minnesota is a very strong chess-playing area, specifically like in the Robbinsdale and Burnsville area. That was quite a while ago. The Lincoln team I was coaching wasn't quite as strong. I also coached Forest Elementary School, and I also coached Pilgrim Lane this year.
Now, what's the future of chess? You said there's 90,000 in the Chess Federation says. What's the future for chess? Can it get bigger, stay the same, smaller? What do you see a future for chess?
Well, it's getting bigger, especially in this area. But who knows what the future holds? It could continue to grow or it could decline. When Fisher won the World Championship, chess in Minnesota just exploded. It was a big boon. In fact, we had a state tournament, I think, that had, and so many people, we had to have the tournament in 2 different sites and ship all the winners by shuttle bus from St. Louis Park Senior High over to Aquila, as I recall. And then when he gave up the title, everything went bust. Less people were showing up. So, and now it's starting to rise again.
Okay. When you're when you're playing somebody at the game of chess, one thing about chess is you can practice, like any game, you practice, and the more you get better, or is it more of a memory game that you just know, memorize the moves, or?
No. There's a book of openings. I've showed it to you. It's real thick. And you go through it, and it has all this notation in here, and you go through chess games. I have a book down there, which is the games of Bobby Fischer, and it has all these games Fischer played, and you see ideas, and you look for concepts and plans of action, and then you try to apply those to different situations, and hopefully you're successful.
And you can play chess on the computers. You can go to the computer store and play the game of chess. You can go to the bookstores, or you can buy books on chess.
Borders have books on chess. I mean, I was there. I just bought a book about 2 months ago, I think, at Borders, called Modern Chess Open.
Think about when you play chess on the computers, and you got the computer at home, you got a game. Who programs those? Are these guys experts, or are they? Once you beat the computer, it can't be much of a challenge. So who programs these chess games?
Well, a computer. What they do is they feed into the computers all games and all this information, and they try to. And the computer doesn't think like a human. A computer makes a move based on statistically what's the highest chance of success. A human makes a decision based on what he feels is right. If you understand, there's a difference. Computers are getting better and better and better. I remember in the 1970s, there was an English grandmaster who offered $10,000 to any computer that could ever beat him before the year 2000. But just recently, a computer beat one of the world chess champions. Right now, there's 3 people who are claiming to be world chess champions, and he beat one of them. And Gary Kasparov lost to a computer. So computers are getting more and more powerful. It might be sometime down the road where a computer might be the best player in the world.
Which says something about how smart the
computer is. Computers aren't that smart. They go based on statistical information. They're not really. They think. They don't really think. They just do.
Sure. Now, in the game of chess, there's different checkmates. There's like a 2-move, 4-move.
Oh, I'll show you a 2-move checkmate.
That's the minimum, obviously, in chess that one can do.
Yeah, you can only the quickest win in chess is 2-move checkmate.
So show us a checkmate move.
You almost fell for that last week.
Yeah, we were playing, and I didn't even know I did it.
The first move is this, and then the second move white makes is this, and black comes down and checkmate.
Okay, so you get your queen going diagonal. And there she goes. This guy says checkmate because king can't go nowhere. Can't go here. He was a goner. And obviously this guy can't go here. The bishop and the knight. Can't go there. Obviously.
Can't stop it.
So that's it.
There's also something that I showed you.
That's the checkmate and the goodbye king and goodbye game and do it again.
Another one is I showed you was a smothered mate, if you remember right.
Okay.
Smothered mate. Am I going too slow here?
No, you got about 20 seconds.
Oh, smothered mate? Okay, I'll show you that real quick. Knight comes down here, checkmate.
Holy cow. Checkmate, look at that. King's trap, can't go nowhere. The knight jumps over, goodbye king, goodbye game, and we're out of time.
Thank you.
So, here you have it. The game of chess what chess is all about, some of the history, places you can learn about the game of chess at Iric's Chess Camp, 593-5808, or the club, 544-2426. Thank you very much for coming to our show, Iric. It was a very informative show, talking about the game, the pieces, the game, the strategy, some of the famous people that have played the chess, and even mentioned Thomas Jefferson, which is nice to know that our president did play, which is something I didn't even know. I'm impressed with that. If you have any questions about our show, please do give us a call at, I guess we're not going to show the numbers, so, but call your local cable studio about the show. Again, just thank my guest, Iric Lampert, chess coach. And again, his number is 593-5808, 544-2426. I'd like to thank our staff and crew members for helping out our show. This is your host, Mark Greenstein, for today's show. And now, you are aware. Produced by Benet Britt, Ira Wild, Jeffrey Lodge. And now, you are aware.